The ascending spiral. The ascending spiral is a term we use to describe the process of consciously moving upward in consciousness. As you begin this process of moving upward along the spiral, your body, your relationships, and your way of serving are all elevated. Even the elements that compromise your physical body are elevated. In our understanding, everything is elevated, not just your mind. As you begin to move upward, you can mark your own progress based on observation of the changes occurring in your four cornerstones of relationship. Your relationship to your body, your relationship with yourself and others, your relationship to work, service, and finally your relationship to the sacred elements. Your relationship to others is especially helpful as a barometer of your progress. Ask yourself, what is happening in my realm of relationships? Are they truthful and meaningful? The elevation and clarity of your relationships will tell you in a very obvious and direct manner where you are along the spiral. If you feel, for instance, that you are very evolved and yet your relationships are difficult and a source of trouble and disharmony, then you can be assured that you are deluded about your level of evolution. We have noticed that there are some humans who enter into what they call the ascension process and then proceed to cut themselves off from personal relationships and the learning opportunities they offer. These people have deprived themselves of a powerful mirror and a most powerful feedback process. This type of feedback tells them if they are ascending or simply deluding themselves. There is a great danger of self-delusion in the process of ascension. Self-delusion can actually increase on the path of ascension due to spiritual ego. As you traverse the upward spiral, there will be an increase in your abilities and powers. If unchecked, your spiritual ego tends to become smug and self-inflated. This lack of discernment and humility is dangerous because you will fall from the elevated states of awareness if you look at others with disdain and separation. So the spiritual ego can be a very real problem that emerges as you start the process of moving upward. And this is why relationships are also such an important part of the process. In ancient Egypt, people who were not psychologically or socially balanced would not be admitted to the mystery schools. This was a wise decision because it was and still is too dangerous to activate higher energies without having the necessary clarity and stability. To understand the ascending spiral concept more easily, picture a pyramid of balance with its square base having 4 base points and a pinnacle at the top. Now picture a spiral starting at any base point and moving up to the pinnacle. In point of fact, the spiral can move upward from any one or all 4 of the base points. You can, for instance, enter this spiral process by clarifying and cultivating positive relationships with others. You can enter the ascending spiral through your highest vision of service. And you can also enter the spiral by cultivating your own life force. And you can rise up the spiral by clarifying your relationship to the sacred elements of earth, fire, water, and air or space. You have 4 possible spirals. Then that can move independently or together, and of course, together is the most powerful of all. If you utilize the powerful synergy of the 4 spirals moving upwards simultaneously, enormous growth in consciousness is possible. The spiral of ascension extends upward to infinity, and there is no limit to the heights you can reach. However, the rate of conscious advancement using those 4 aspects within the spiral at any given time would ideally be balanced. diagram 7, notice that any upward moving spiral will have the possibility of 4 movements, one from each base point. And it says on the diagram that the pinnacle, as it goes up and up, it kind of leads to infinity. Okay, let's say that you wish to move upward in a balanced spiral. How would you do that? You would do that by reaching the same level of consciousness and capability in all 4 areas simultaneously, omitting none of them. If you elevate your ka, you elevate your relationships, you elevate your work, and you elevate the sacred elements. Your foundation has moved up and you're in balance. But if you have developed 3 of your cornerstones while neglecting your relationships, you will have a mess on your hands, because what should have been a balanced plane of stability is now tilted dangerously in one sector. Consequently, when the spiral starts to move up, it cannot go any higher, because the foundation on that corner of the pyramid is not there, it's missing. It is best to elevate all 4 positions of the pyramid simultaneously so that your growth can be stable. Choose the highest possibilities in each of the 4 cornerstones. When you interact with another human, come from the highest vision of what is possible. In your relationship with your own life force, accept the reality of whatever is happening and work to improve it. If, for instance, you are striving to achieve the highest personal energy and health, then you must act in a way to try to bring that possibility into existence by making the right lifestyle choices. Continually work to revision your service to the world so that it is the highest expression of what you are capable. And finally, continue to elevate your awareness of the 4 sacred elements so that you are grounded in the physicality of your life. By surrendering to the highest possibility in each of the corners of the pyramid, all 4 areas of your life become harmonious. If properly attended to, the intention of the highest possibility will balance out the 4 foundation areas of your life, allowing your frequency shift to occur in balance. Reflecting on and then choosing to grow in these 4 areas of life is very different from what many humans normally do, however. The process of moving up the spiral of ascension takes energy. It is far easier to simply be in lethargy and unconsciousness, which is the state and the continuing choice of many humans. It takes energy to move up the spiral and into the higher realms. We know there are some people who say that their path to higher states of consciousness is very easy, and it doesn't really take any work or only thought. However, we would say in our experience over millennia that this is not true. It does take effort. Now, there is grace along the way that helps, but it still takes effort to move through places that do not wish to change and grow. What allows you to have that energy to move upward is your ka. Only with a strong ka and ample life force will you have the power and the strength to clear your thoughts and balance your emotions. You need energy to successfully interact with someone, or you will not even have the possibility of surrendering to the highest vision for that relationship. In fact, without sufficient life force, you will be so depleted that you can barely interact at all. That is why we started with, and why we keep reinforcing this basic concept. You must build your ka. You must build your life force.